Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello doctor, my name is Zannah Indri matric number 268903. I would like to present about the Malacca Strait. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea 1982 regulates international law of the sea. The territorial sea in a country is 12 miles away, as well as an additional 24-mile zone and an exclusive economic zone of 200 miles measured from the coastline.
If this is a land or a coast of an X country, the coast will have a baseline running throughout the shore, which is mean below water. All the waters behind the baseline are known as internal waters, which are exclusively under the state. No foreign vessels of any type are allowed in this region. Then comes the territorial water, which is 12 nautical miles from the coast. In this region, the coastal state has the right to do resource exploitation, right to fish, etc. No foreign ships allowed in this region unless they come under the right to innocent passage, which basically means they are not here for the exploitation of the resources, transiting arms or weapons, spying, etc. The next is the contiguous zone, which extends from the territorial waterline, that is from 12 nautical miles to 24 nautical miles. In this region, the foreign ships can pass, ensuring they comply with the right to innocent passage. The coastal state has the power to prevent infringement of its customs, fiscal, immigration or sanitary laws and regulations within the contiguous zone. The coastal state can arrest the ship and punish infringement of the above laws and regulations committed within its territory. Now, the most important zone, which is widely used by foreign ships, is the Exclusive Economic Zone or EEZ, which also contributes to the economy of the coastal state. Here, the foreign ships are allowed to sail if they are extending to do trade, to lay cables or pipelines, etc., ensuring they are not harming the sea state. The EEZ boundaries extend from 0 to 200 nautical miles from the coastal state baseline. Within its EEZ, a coastal state has sovereign rights for the purpose of exploring, exploiting, conserving and managing natural resources, whether living or non-living, of the seabed and subsoil and the superjacent waters for the economic exploitation, such as the production of energy from the water, currents and wind.
The Malacca Strait has an important role for the international community due to its strategic location. The Strait of Malacca is one of the most important shipping lanes in the world, as important as the Suez Canal. Okay, next slide. I would like to present about dispute Malacca Strait border. On 17 October of 1969, Indonesia and Malaysia made an agreement to determine the boundaries of the continental shelf between two countries. The agreement result is a decision between Indonesia government and Malaysia government regarding the delimitation of the country continental shelf boundary, which was signed by the government in Kuala Lumpur. The incident began when there were two Malaysian vessels fishing in the Exclusive Economic Zone (EEZ) area in the Malacca Strait. The two vessels were raised because they didn't have a fishery business license and a fishing permit from the Indonesian government. Then came a Malaysian helicopter that blocked the fishing process and assumed that two Malaysian flag vessels were fishing in Malaysia.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Fatin Atiqah Binti Shabani. My matric number is 263291. Now, I will presenting the reasons for the failure of the Exclusive Economic Zone EEZ Boundary Agreement. Alright, for the first reason, the agreement territorial sea and the continental shelf between Malaysia and Indonesia is the Malacca Strait has been agreed. So both countries only need to agree on EEZ boundary. But from the unilateral claims of each country, there is a desirable difference. Hence, they failed to reach a agreement on the EEZ boundary due to the national interest. This is because the boundary issue directly related to the maritime potentially abundant resources like fisheries resources that make both countries be more cautious in making decisions. This convention fails to set a comprehensive rules, standards, and norms as a guideline for Malaysia-Indonesia when determining EEZ boundary. In LOSC 1982 arranged some EEZ-related things about maximum width that a country can claim is to not more than 200 miles. Therefore, there are conflicts of opinions regarding the determination of EEZ boundary. First, according to Advance D 1991, the countries may agree on any line as long as the result is equitable and do not have to establish a specific rule of law, while in contrast, Charney stated that countries that are required to use a fair principle with the relevant circumstance provided for and international law in determining their maritime boundaries.
Saleha Binti Fadli. My metric number is 261507. Now I will present the part for implication on in fisheries. The ramification arising from the absence of a clearly defined EEZ boundary limits between Indonesia and Malaysia in the northern region of the Malacca Straits cannot be overemphasized. As mentioned earlier, the existence of jurisdictional vacuum in these contested offshore waters has led to several issues and challenges affecting fisheries sector and community. Firstly, the absence of an agreed EEZ boundary line in the northern region of the Malacca Straits between Indonesia and Malaysia has caused frequent cases of foreign fishing encroachment. These violations are committed by the fishermen and vessels from both countries. The incident of illegal fishing is not only reported in Indonesia claiming EEZ water, but also occurred in the EEZ part of Malaysia. This can be seen by the frequent of reported incidents of arrested fishermen by the opposite enforcement agency. The second implication resulting from the overlapping EEZ claims between Indonesia and Malaysia in the Malacca Strait is allegedly illegal detention of fishermen and confiscation of vessels in the contested waters by maritime enforcement agencies from both sides. In some cases, some of these fishermen claim that they were fishing within their country's national waters, but were wrongly detained by National Maritime Enforcement Agency of opposing state. Such incidents have in many cases been subjected to diplomatic protests and occasionally strained the bilateral relationship between the government and fishing community of Indonesia and Malaysia. From 2015 to 2018, 473 sailing vessels were arrested by Agensi Penguatkuasaan Maritim Malaysia authorities. The highest number of arrested vessels during the period 2015-2018 is Vietnam with 342 vessels, followed by Indonesia 110 vessels. Indonesian Water Supervision Officers arrested 2 Malaysian flagged fishing vessels in the EEZ Indonesia in September 2013. From these 2 vessels, the Indonesian authorities successfully secured evidence not only in the form of catches and also illegal fishing gear, known in local name as Pukat Harimau. Meanwhile, on April 2016, The 3 Indonesian fishermen were arrested by Malaysian marine security officers for committing fishing violation in the territorial waters of Malaysia. It worth noting that many of the cases were resolved amicably as the detained Indonesian fishermen were safely returned to their home country.